So today is the start of Advent. It's the countdown to Christmas Day, and it's all about getting ready and waiting for the coming of Jesus. I love the anticipation. I actually enjoy the anticipation of Christmas Day more than Christmas Day itself. Is there anyone else like that in the room? Yes. I love the build-up, the thrill, the excitement. And so, as we mentioned earlier, we're using the carol, O Holy Night, as we wait and prepare and eventually celebrate the coming of Jesus. And we're going to look at a different line each week throughout December. And we're thinking this morning about the line, a new and glorious morning. And I'd love to talk for the next few minutes about getting ready this Advent, which involves two key things: preparing well and waiting eagerly. How many of you need an alarm clock when you wake up in the morning? Who needs the alarm clock to wake them up? Okay, hands down. Who wakes up before the alarm goes off? Here are your early risers. And who snoozes their alarm until the last possible moment? You're my people. So in my household, we have a few different approaches to alarms. As I said, I'm the alarm snoozer, and so when I can, I hit snooze on the alarm at the weekend for as long as I possibly can. I don't see the point in the snooze button being the biggest one on the alarm and not using it. Anna, my daughter, has just turned 4, and for her birthday, she got this grow clock. There's a picture on the screen as well, because this is quite small. And so the way a grow clock works, if you don't have one in your household, is during the daytime it looks orange like this, and then when it's bedtime, you press this button, and the owl waves bye-bye to you, and it turns blue. And so when you go to sleep, it's blue. And then in the morning, you have to wait for it to turn orange again. And that means that it's time to get up. And so Anna, in the morning, she sits in her bed and she waits eagerly for it to turn the right color so that she can play with her toys. My youngest, Joel, he's nearly 2, he thinks he is the alarm clock, not just for our house, but for the whole street. So he doesn't need anything to prompt him to wake anyone else up. And so alarms, they signal the start of a new day. We set them to help us to get ready and to prepare for what's to come. As I said, in our house, Anna has this grow clock, and we use it to help us prepare for the next day. So when it comes to bedtime, we put away all our stuff from the day. We get out what we need for the morning. We spend a little bit of time together as a family reading our Bible and praying. And then in preparation for the morning, Anna presses this button to say goodnight to the owl so that it is prepared and ready to wake her in the morning. In the story today, Abraham was getting ready for all that God had in store for him. You see, where he was living was great for where he was at that time, but it wasn't going to be his forever home. He was going to grow, and God was going to grow him and his family, and so they needed to move. So he packed up all his things, along with his nephew, as a guy called Lot, and they moved with all their relatives, their servants, their flocks. And Abraham prepared well for the journey. It says that he took everything with him. He took all that he needed, and he took the journey one little bit at a time, following God's instruction. And so just as Abraham prepared for the journey he was taking, we also have an invitation to prepare for the journey towards celebrating Jesus' birth. And so I wonder, what might you do to prepare for what's coming over the next 24 days? How might you prepare your heart for celebrating Jesus' birth? And not just all the practical things that we need to prepare, like the presents and the writing of cards and the invitation of people to come round our house. What might you do to prepare your heart for the coming of Jesus? Could you use the Advent resources that we've produced as a church? There's some for families, there's some for grown-ups, there's some for young people. Could you prioritize joining us each Sunday throughout Advent at one of our services as we gather together to worship and learn about God together? Could you set your alarm at a suitable time each day? It doesn't have to be the morning if you're not a morning person. Just to spend time with God each day, perhaps lighting a candle or creating space to pray and read your Bible. You see, when Anna goes to bed and sets her alarm, it's part of her routine to prepare well for the next day. But she also has to wait eagerly for her clock to signal that it is now time to get ready, that the new day has come. It will be no surprise to any of you that we definitely didn't buy this clock because Anna needed help waking up in the morning. We bought this clock so that she could learn to wait for a reasonable time to wake up and to wake up the rest of our household. When she gets up, she waits really eagerly because she's so keen to play with her toys. But she has to wait until it tells her it's time to get up. Advent is a season of waiting, centered around waiting for Jesus to come again. The line from the carol we're using today to help us think about the hope that we have in Jesus. It says, "Yonder breaks a new and glorious morning." The promise of a new morning is certain. The promise of hope in Jesus is real. It's tangible. It's a sure thing. And so we wait in anticipation because we know that it's real and we know that it's there. And we wait in eagerness because Jesus is coming again, and we get to look forward to that day when we're fully united with him. And so just like us, Abraham had to be active in his waiting. His waiting involved a journey, one that actually took him back to exactly where he began. But in his waiting, he had to keep moving. It was only when he was willing to actively wait, continuing the journey to where God was calling him at each stage, that he then got to this place which we heard in our verses read today. Raise your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northwards and southwards and eastwards and westwards. I will give you and your offspring forever. We know from the rest of Abraham's story that he saw very little in his lifetime of the reality of that promise. Abraham lived in the light of God's promise with his eyes set towards that new and glorious morning. And ultimately, we see that come in the person of Jesus. So my encouragement for us as a church is to wait eagerly. Our waiting isn't in vain, even if, like Abraham, we feel like we're back exactly where we started. Wait eagerly because God can do things on the journey from one place to the next that we didn't expect or anticipate. Wait eagerly because sometimes it's our willingness to journey that opens up the opportunity to see something new. Wait eagerly because God can stir something in our own hearts when we do. Last week in our services, Jim gave us the opportunity to write down the names of the people that we wanted to pray for and we're hoping to invite to one of our Christmas services. And as a staff team, we've been praying for you and for your friends and your family this week. And so this Advent, why not wait eagerly, choosing to be active in our waiting, praying for our friends, our colleagues, our classmates, our family, to experience the hope of Jesus. Wait eagerly, asking God for opportunities to offer that invitation to come to one of our Christmas services. Wait eagerly, allowing your expectation of what God can do to rise in your heart. When we set alarm clocks, whether they look like this or not, we do it to prepare for the next day, to wait eagerly, and to know when to get ready. And so I'd love to invite you to take out your phone again, if you've got it on you. And I'm going to invite you to set 2 alarms. So if you go to the clock on your app, and you can do this as a whole family, or you can do it with those that you're sat near. And so the 2 alarms I'm going to invite you to set is one at the beginning or at the end of your day. Set an alarm to prompt you to prepare well this Advent. I've chosen the morning only because it's just about the only space that I have in my day where I know that I'm less likely to be interrupted. But you can do yours whenever it suits you. But we want to put in time to intentionally prepare well. And it might be that you want to use the Advent resources that we've produced as a church in that time. It might be that you want to add that into your time that you already spend with God. And the second alarm I want to invite you to do is to set an alarm at your lunchtime, whenever that is. Whenever you take a lunch break at work or at school or at college, or whenever you eat your lunch at home, put in that time. And I want to invite you to pray for up to 3 people who you want to come to know the thrill of hope in Jesus this Christmas, and to pray for opportunities to invite them along to the Christmas services. So I'm going to give you 20 more seconds just to put those alarms in your phone, to set them for each day of the week. It's only 24 days until Christmas, so you've only got to set them for 24 more days. And so this Advent, I'd love to encourage you, get ready, prepare well, and wait eagerly.